It's Thursday, so you know what that means. Welcome to another episode of InfoSec Unplugged, where anyone and everyone in tech and cybersecurity can have real conversations about the ups and downs they face during their career journey. We can talk about our experiences, we can share our frustrations, and we can share knowledge with each other as well as the audience. Thank you for joining. I'm your humbled host, Davin Jackson, also known as DJax Alpha on Twitter. Thanks for taking your time out of your schedule to come kick it with me today. If you haven't done so already, please like the channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, and damn, I'm forgetting another one. Oh yeah, hit the bell for notifications so you can be notified when I go live. Also, this episode is sponsored by Udemy. Udemy is an online training platform that has over 100,000 courses. You can learn anything from programming to basket weaving or knitting, I don't know, marketing, or my specialty, hacking, penetration testing, and cybersecurity courses. So go check them out, learn some new skills for 2021. Please click the link in the description because every time you do it, a little bit of the proceeds go and help out this channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. So now that we got all the sponsor stuff and everything out the way, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday, enjoyed their new year. I, for one, did. Christmas was great. Got to spend it with my family, got some downtime, and then I even had a surprise from from the rest of my family who came down to surprise me and visit and spend the new year with me. So we're back. Like I said, I was off last week, but we're back, refreshed, ready to hit 2021 and hit the ground running. So this week, I actually have two guests that I want to talk to. I follow them on social media, follow them on Twitter and Instagram. I love what they're doing in the cybersecurity and tech field, and just their openness and honesty about it. First, I have Harley Kimball. You also know him as Infinite Logins on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel. He's an InfoSec enthusiast. He's a pen tester, and he's just a great guy. And also, I have Tyler Hawkins, also known as Choco Lovin'. He runs Hawkeye Security. He's a pen tester or a hacker and a bug bounty hunter. So I want to talk to them, bring them on, talk about their journey, and maybe get some tips and tricks on content creation and some bug bounties. So let's go ahead and bring them in and welcome them to the show. Gentlemen, Happy New Year. Thank you for joining and welcome to InfoSec Unplugged. How you guys doing?
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. So, like I said, we've been talking online and talking on social media for a while. I think Tyler, I think we've, communicated a few times, over the last couple of years or so. Tell them who you are first, talk about, how you got started and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a security engineer at a cloud software company. Got started through bug bounty. Still do bug bounty somewhat, but we've been in the game for like 4 years, 2 formally, and then 2 when I was starting just bug bounty.
Okay. And certainly last but certainly not least, Harley, also known as Infinite Logins. Talk about your journey. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. What's up, guys? Hello, everybody in chat. So I've only been a pen tester or so for the past year-ish. I've been doing it 6 to 12 months professionally. Before that, I was doing sysadmin, network admin type work at a small MSP. And then, last year I decided, as I'm learning new stuff, I might as well give back and try to teach people too, and I started a YouTube thing, and it's been a fun journey ever since.
So that's awesome. So we got 2 people who are still relatively new. So we got some newbies here. So that's great. Harley, let's start with you. So you said you've been in here a little bit over a year now, and you have a YouTube channel. So what's that like, creating the YouTube channel while actually still kind of learning the ropes yourself?
I think in a way it's been, I think everyone should do it that way, because when you're learning, I don't know about you, but when I'm learning something, like I know I'm gonna forget it, right? So I'll go and I'll make like a blog post. That's how it started. Is I started a blog. So I would make notes about something that I learned, and I turn it into a blog post, or I learned how to use this new tool or perform this new attack, and I turn it into a blog post. That way I could reference it for myself later, but I made it public, so that way if other people want to look at it too, they can. And then I was like, well, I'm a visual learner, so what's an hour for me to record a quick video, chop it up, put it on YouTube, maybe it'll help people. And that's just kind of what it's turned into, like I'll learn something new on the job, and then I'm like, hey, I think people would like this, and I'll make a video on it. So it encourages me to continue learning new stuff.
Now, you know damn well it takes an hour to record it, but the editing process.
Yeah, I kind of stretched the truth there on how much time, but
I was gonna say, because you might need to talk to me offline about how you can get your stuff done in an hour, because I do a video and sometimes my family think I'm talking to myself because I'm constantly doing retakes, like, okay, welcome to the YouTube, welcome, so
yeah, there's a lot of that. I always have to like close my door. I don't know why, but if people can hear me for whatever reason, I'm like, okay, I'm too nervous to make this happen right now.
Right. And Tyler, you said you started off doing bug bounties, so we know what bug bounties are. So, but for the chat, salute to the chat, everybody here. Thank you for joining. Happy New Year. Just kind of go into the quick details of what bug bounties are and how you got started with them.
Yeah, so bug bounties are basically public programs that companies have, like notably Facebook, Twitter, and a lot of big companies have them, but they basically pay you money based on security issues or vulnerabilities you find in their systems. So you don't have to be formally employed by them to find these things. You don't have to be. There's certain restrictions, like the countries that can actually test on the systems, but there's a lot of freedom in testing. So for me, it was a good way to learn, like to get into the field. Like I took like internet security in college, and that got me into like just using basic tools. But I think when I started bug bounties, like I was learning cutting edge, like finding like techniques and stuff, and also was able to apply what I learned in a real life scenario, which is why I like recommend that for other people that want to get into the field.
Right. So, without counting your pockets, how much money have you made off of bug bounties?
I don't even know. I'd say like I lived off of it for like a year, like in college. Like I quit my job and was doing that like part time. So I'd say like at least minimum wage, like 40K, 50 maybe.
That's not bad. That's better than me. I've gotten swag. I've gotten stickers and T-shirts and thank you.
You made that much in your first year?
No, I mean total. First year was like 30, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, but still, that's still a decent little side job, little side hustle, even if or even in college. So, so you talked about it going to college. So, what did you go to college? Did you go to college for technology or cybersecurity?
It was a business degree, so a lot of business classes, but the focus was in computer information systems, and they had like an even deeper focus, but it was only like 4 classes, which was like information assurance type stuff.
Okay. And Harley, what about you? Did you have any formal college or anything like that?
Yeah, I got an associate's degree in cybersecurity and networking. I definitely learned way more on the job than I ever did in that class, But yeah, I've got an associate's degree.
Okay. And I'm assuming you guys have some certifications?
Yeah, after I got employed though.
Okay. So
I've been grinding away at the OSCP, man. I don't actually hold any real certifications. I've got a few things that my school gave me, like a certified firewall technician and crap like that. But
that's a certification. That's
I guess. Yeah.
on a resume.
But yeah, I've been grinding for the OSCP. That's my big goal right now.
Okay,
So,
so we're gonna tweak. Go ahead, Tyler. I'm sorry.
yeah, I just started OSCP this week, so I'm in the
Woo!
same boat.
You took the leap.
Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome to the little labs. So, so we're gonna tweak it a little bit. So usually I ask my guests what are their thoughts on the certs versus degrees, but we're gonna add certs versus degrees as well as hands-on experience. And Harley, you can go first.
Yeah, man. So I think a degree is cool for networking. Like school is awesome to meet people. I would highly recommend like if you're able to afford going to school and like you don't have to take out loans for it and you've got time, I would totally do that to meet others. But I wouldn't necessarily do that as like, okay, cool, I'm going to get this piece of paper and I'm going to go get a job, because some companies do care if you have a degree, but most of them only care about like what can you do, you know? So if you don't have a degree, but you've got certifications that show I can do this, and you're able to network well on your own, like find your own meetups and join communities in Discord or Reddit or whatever, then you can make those opportunities for yourself. You just got to know the right person and be available at the right time to get that interview. So that's kind of my 2 cents about it.
Right, Tyler. What about you?
Yeah, I think same. Like, I'd say hands-on is really the most valuable, because that's what you're going to be doing at a company or for a job. Um, but I'd also say that the just fundamentals that I learned through my degree, like how databases work, how basic programming languages work, how networking works. Like, I don't know any certs, like one cert that would teach you all the fundamentals that you would need to start like pen testing, for example. So I think that's where my degree came in handy for the basics and stuff. But yeah, I'd say for the specifics, like certs really help you stand out a lot more and that experience.
Right. So, so my take on it is, like I didn't go to college, uh, but I really feel like from what I've seen and in my experiences, I mean, having a college degree does help, but I've seen where people can get to a certain level without a degree, and then on the flip side, people with a degree usually end up having to go back and get certifications. So it really just depends on your preference, right? Like for example, like if you know you want to get into some type of management later on in your career, then most certainly you need to get your bachelor's or your master's degree. Um, but I'm all about not necessarily cutting corners, but saving money, and I don't have I'm not trying to do no student loans or anything like that. So I'm a big advocate for getting the certifications and the hands-on experience first. Um, you know, I started from the bottom, so I got my A plus, network plus, and then I got my security plus. Um, then before I got into cybersecurity, I actually was doing like sysadmin help desk stuff. So I got a bunch of Microsoft certifications, so Windows Server and everything, and basically worked my way up to sysadmin. And then I jumped into cybersecurity. So I think the hands-on experience is definitely valuable in the field, and then getting the certifications helps, and then getting the hands-on experience to reinforce what you learned in the certifications. Because I think, like one of you said, you don't want to just have the piece of paper. You don't want to be paper certified. You want to have the certification, but you also want to know what things do. So don't tell me you have your CEH or your OSCP or anything like that, but can't tell me how an Nmap scan works. So so Harley, I think you said you were a sysadmin before. So what made you make the transition into cybersecurity?
Well, I always knew, like from the jump, I knew I was going to do cybersecurity. I was like 14 years old when I decided that. I was playing a game online. Some dude hit me up in Skype and was like, long story short, he tried to phish me, and it was the first time I ever seen like a phishing website. So it had me hooked like immediately. I was like, you can just clone a website. So I had to learn how it worked, you know. So I'm a kid playing around with phishing websites and looking up remote administration Trojans and all kinds of crazy stuff. So when I found out that a school near me had one of the first cybersecurity degree programs, I jumped all over that. Like as soon as I got out of high school, I was in that. And then when I graduated with an associate's degree, I always wanted to get into ethical hacking and pen testing, but for whatever reason, I think I told myself like that's not attainable. Like you need to go and climb the ladder, and no, everyone wants to be a hacker. You're never going to be able to do that. So I started working help desk, and like just grinding my way up through that. And it was about a year and a half, 2 years ago, where I decided like if I'm ever going to become a pen tester, like I always want to be, like I've got to put in the work. Like I've got to do it, and I can, and I did. So that's kind of my journey, and my thought process was always to get to where I'm at, and then just being really intense and making sure you don't lose sight of that vision.
Right. Nah, kudos to you. I knew I wanted to get into cybersecurity, but I just didn't know where. And then even when I was working in the school system doing like the help desk and sysadmin stuff, I actually started out on the blue side, so trying to do more incident response and the preventative type things. But I felt the same way when I started looking into the offensive side and looking at I was looking at vulnerability assessments, and then obviously that naturally introduced me to penetration testing. And I remember I was like, man, this is what I want to do. But I really sat on it for like another year or 2 years, just because I felt like I needed to build myself up. And my thinking was, if I know everything there is to know from the sysadmin side, from the pen test side, I'll know how to navigate through Active Directory or something like that. And even though it does work out, I still feel like I could have made that. If there was one thing I regret that I didn't do it sooner. And I also think I was using that as an excuse uh, for that fear, for that nervousness, right? Like, okay, I'm going to make this jump and I don't know how to do it. And then also, it's pretty damn expensive to go to a class. And I wasn't making that much money. So in the meantime, I was just kind of saving up while I was gaining my other certs and my experience. So but definitely, like I said, kudos to you for realizing that and then just kind of making that jump, because that's the one thing that when I talk to people who I mentor or just people online, the number one thing that holds them back is essentially themselves. It's the fact that they want to do it, they know they want to do it, they've done some research, but something's holding them back. And it's kind of like when they talk to me, I'm like, it's you, right? It's you that's holding you back. So
Yeah, if you're watching this right now and you're like thinking like, man, why are they talking about me? Just do it. Right? That certification you're thinking about, it's expensive. Just do it. Literally today, pull out your credit card, sign up, don't look back. You're gonna look back and think like, okay, this is
or or if you're working for a company, see if they'll either pay for it up front or reimburse you. So this way, if you do put it on the credit card, hey, that's, to me, that's more motivation. Like when I was working at a company and they said, sure, we'll reimburse you only if you pass. And it was like, okay, well, that's even more motivation because I need to get this money back. So, talk to your job first and see if they'll do it. And if they don't do it, then yeah. I've even seen some schools even do financing options now. I don't know what the interest rate is on that. I'm not advocating going out and getting basically the equivalent of a student loan for a boot camp. But, if you can swing it, then go right ahead. So, Tyler, in your short career, what challenges have you faced or are currently facing in cybersecurity?
I'd just say mostly just the information overload. Like, I feel like I want to know everything so I can find everything when I'm doing like a pen test or like a vulnerability assessment or whatever. But there's like infinite information and just things coming out every day. So I think just staying motivated to keep on top of things latest trends and all that, and challenging myself to like do things that are uncomfortable in order to help me grow.
Right. I like that. I like that answer. Harley, what about you?
It's people, man. People don't want to do what you tell them to do. They look at you as like an auditor, right? Or you come in, or they, I mean, we're hackers, and our job is to come in and assess a network or assess an application. So we're going to these guys and we're telling them like, hey, that thing that you spent all of your life building or all of your time building, yeah, it's got problems, and here's all the problems, and you need to go fix it. And so, I mean, it makes sense why they push back, but I think that's a huge challenge that I never really considered when I was going through school, and just realizing like it doesn't click, like security doesn't click to everybody. I mean, just getting users to follow basic security principles like locking your computer screen, like you mentioned, it's really, that's a huge challenge. So being able to communicate that is tough.
No, absolutely. And that kind of goes back into what I was talking about earlier, and I'm going to touch on that in a second. But to to both of your points, what I typically have done in the past, if I'm on a pen testing assessment, I like to, even after we do the call, because you know how you have the scoping call and all the meetings about the meetings before you even run your first scan. Um, After we do the introductions and then all the big wigs and the people who make the decisions and cut the checks leave the room, I like to go to the network guys or the sysadmin people and just kind of let them know, like, look, it's not a us versus them or a me versus you thing. I try to break the ice that way. Um, and then the other thing I try to do is I'll sometimes give them a heads up as long as they agree not to make any changes. I'm like, hey, look, I found a couple things. I won't go into detail about what I found because, again, I don't want them to make any changes mid assessment or try to alter the scope, because I've also had that happen to me. But, you try to ease the tension, because I've been on both sides of the spectrum where they don't want to give you any help. I think it was like my first or second pen testing assessment. I got my CEH. I did my first assessment. I thought I was big shit, right? I thought I was on top of the world. And I remember going into this assessment, and they connected me on the VPN, but the access that they gave me was very limited. So I couldn't see anything, and they did not want to help me. And I remember, like, I was getting in trouble. And again, this is my first time. This is my first pen testing job. This is my second assessment at this new job. I literally just made the bump, that pay bump from what I was making in the school system to now what I'm making as a junior pen tester, which was a significant bump. And I'm like, man, they're going to fire me. I remember I was like, that assessment, I stayed up till like 4 a.m. trying to troubleshoot. And then it wasn't until like I finally said, all right, let me get my supervisor involved. And we started talking, and the head network guy was like, "Oh yeah, it's on our end." And it was like this whole time, and I remember there was email threads, and they just wouldn't help me. It wasn't until I brought in, senior staff that it was like, "Oh yeah, no, it's us. Here, I just clicked this button. Now try it now." You know, um, so that was a lesson learned, because for one, I'm not staying up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, especially when I don't get paid by the hour. And two, I'm not again. After talking to them, it was like, well, I'm not trying to get embarrassed. I'm not trying to get fired because you found something. And it's like, well, dude, you'll never know if we don't test it. So, and then to Tyler's point, with the information overload. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 right now. Um, it's always going to be an information overload. There's a lot of information processed daily, and then when you think you're processing it and getting a grip on it, something new happens, right? So, for example, you think you figured out most of the pen testing stuff. You got a grip on the tools, and then all of a sudden something like SolarWinds happens, and now all the companies are like, we have to learn these tools that FireEye just made public. And now you have to figure out those attacks and figure out that, because now they want you to stop what you're doing, learn how this attack works, or learn how these exploits work. So, because they want their stuff secure. So to that, I just say Google. Google, Twitter sometimes, and Google. Obviously, you don't want to break NDA or you don't want to reveal too much information, but um, you know, that was another mistake that I had when I first came out. I didn't communicate with anybody. I tried to reach out to a couple people, and I don't know if they were just too busy or if they just curved me and just didn't want to deal with me. But after that, I was like, well, you know what? Fuck everybody. I'll just figure it out myself. And I think it made it a lot harder for me now looking back. Um, but yeah, ask ask questions like, hey, I'm trying to do this, whatever, and then you can even troubleshoot. I mean, I've helped a couple people mid assessment where they're like, hey, I've tried to do this, and I'm like, well, have you run this nmat flag, or are you capturing the packets in Wireshark, and what's happening when you're running these commands. So these are all things that you could just pick up, and then as time goes on, I write everything down, sort of like what Harley was saying. I make notes of everything. Like, I have notebooks for days, and then after a while, I take that and I put them. I type them up, and then this is my reference guide, and I make little cheat sheets for myself. And then over time, you'll get that, and it'll get easier with that stuff. But then there's always something else that's gonna pop up after the fact. So let me just hop on here real quick. I'm gonna hop in the chat. So Clifton Reed says, welcome back. Thank you. Happy New Year. E. Brown says, hello. How you doing, sis? Dara Jackson says, hey guys, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Professor Black Ops, salute to the chat. Salute to you, sir. I haven't forgot. We got to link up and get that set up. And Spades 93 says the number. If you're still here, you want to elaborate on what do you mean by the number? So, and I guess while we're waiting for that, so we talked about some of the challenges. So, Tyler, when do you still do bug bounties?
When I have time, like sometimes I feel like it's too much, because I do it for my day job, and like with consulting too, it's like a lot of the same stuff. So when I feel like refreshed and everything, motivated, then I might take a look at some stuff, but not as heavy for sure.
So, when you're doing bug bounties, I mean, are there any little things that you do that you could any tips you want to share when you're doing your bug bounties? Sorry, I'm just responding to something real quick.
Yeah, uh I'd say like pick an area that you're, I guess, like specialized in. Like if you're good at mobile apps, pick a program that has some mobile apps in scope. If you're good at web apps, pick some web apps, and then from there just do as much information gathering as you can. Like if you're doing a mobile app, like decompile the app, look at the source code, look at the network traffic that's coming from the app, um, look at the network traffic that's coming from the web app, uh, and then from there, kind of, if you have tools like I like Burp Suite is like one of the best tools that like you can use for web app testing. I use that. There's some good extensions that do some additional scanner checks that you can download. Like I know James Kettle from Port Swigger. He has some nice extensions. Um, but yeah, I'd say like try and stay off the try not to go after like the low hanging fruit, because that's probably what's targeted by all the other hackers that are hacking on that program. And I try to stick to some more complex things that might take you more time but be worth it in the end. Like when you're doing like your recon and stuff, I'd say like just make notes of like things that you think are interesting, and then come back to those, and then you might be able to chain those small bugs you find into a bigger exploit, and then increase the severity, and then increase your payout.
Right. So what's your favorite bug to hunt for?
Oh man, like it used to be XXE because it was just like I was like, man, what the heck? Like XML parsing was like I don't know some really new stuff to me, but I'd say SSRF right now because there's like so much you could potentially do with it.
Okay. Harley, are you doing any bug hunting?
So I need to get better. I need to up my game there. Most of my pin testing has been more on the network side, OSCP type stuff.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, within the last few months, I've been on some web app assessments, and I've tried to learn more about the bug bounty space. I've been watching a lot of Nahamsek's channel. Shout out to him. He does awesome interviews. Um, I learn a lot from him. That's where I kind of started to get my feet wet. But yeah, that's kind of another goal of mine for this year.
Yeah. Namsec, Stoke, Jason Haddix. I know I'm forgetting a few right now because we're live, and that's what happened.
Peter
Yeah,
Yaworski or
yeah,
something.
Peter Yorsky. Yep, he literally wrote the book on bug hunting. I have. Oh nope, it's up here. It's on my other bookshelf. So
I got one more tip.
go ahead.
I'd say if you want to learn bug bounty, like go through HackerOne. They have a tab that says Hacktivity, and you can go through disclosed reports to see other people's reports and the bugs that people are reporting. So you can kind of glean some information for that, and then you can add that to your methodology.
Yeah. Well, for one, like I said, to Harley, yes, make sure you learn web app. Like network pen testing is good, but you don't. What I've learned, you don't want to just kind of be pigeonholed into just one, basically one form of pen testing. Um, and web app stuff will get you once you kind of understand the concept of web app pen testing. That's another thing you have to kind of jump into because I was the same way. I started off doing network stuff, and then once I started doing web app stuff, it was like, okay, so now I got to use this proxy and I got to do this and do that, and then it just now it's just it comes natural. And I think one of the things it wasn't bug hunting, Tyler. It wasn't bug hunting for me, but it felt like it because of the job I was working for at the time. We were just testing web app after web app, and my thing was like cross site request forgery. Like once I learned how to do that attack, it was like everything was CSRF.
Dude, that's where I am right now. I learned about CSRF and I'm like, okay, this is fun. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, like I'm again not breaking NDA, but like I have a write up. I still have it. It was like I call it like I CSRF'd my way to admin because it was just like one after the other. Like I CSRF'd, click, got them to click it, boom. Now I gained access to there. Then I needed to elevate, so I CSRF'd another privileged user. Next thing you know, I was like I had admin privileges. It was fun times. But yeah, like I said, that's actually one of my goals for 2021 is to find some time, at least one day a week, to get into to bug hunting. Again, not even necessarily for the money. Um, just again, that it's a different experience. And I usually tell people, it's something else to do and something else to pick up, a new skill to learn. Because even though it is web app pen testing, sometimes it's just to me, it just has a different feel. And that experience that you gain from it is definitely beneficial. But I do not recommend people thinking they're going to do that as a career. I know there's a couple $1 million, even I think there was a report that someone made $2 million off of bug bounties in their career, and that's great. But to me, that's just like when anybody asks about, oh, I'm good at football or I'm good at basketball, so I think I'm going to go pro. All right, cool. What's your backup plan? Right? Always have a backup plan.
So,
So so Harley, on your YouTube channel, I mean, you like I said, you talked about it earlier, where as you're learning things, you're uploading the videos. But do you have a specific approach when you decide to create content? Like, what is that process like?
Yeah, man. I've been toying with all kinds of stuff. When the first few videos I did were like user awareness training videos. I wanted to try to make stuff. I wanted to demystify hacking. Like I wanted to show what it looked like when you run that Word document and you hit enable content, right? Like people say you can't do that. I wanted to show why. So that's kind of how I started, is making those type of videos, and then as I progressed, I think my target audience changed, because instead of just targeting like regular business people, I was like, well, I learned this new attack that these guys aren't going to understand, but people like me are going to love it. So I made a video about that, just as I'm learning stuff. And then now I'm toying with, I've got this crazy new idea that hasn't, like, I'm in the process of scripting it out and making this video. I think it could be like legendary next level stuff. It's never been done before in this field. So I'm super excited about that. Who knows, it could be a flop, but I'm excited about it. And I've just been toying with other like ideas. Like all last week I uploaded 60-second long videos just to see, people like that type of content, that's hacking related, but you can digest in 60 seconds or less. So if you do check out some of my stuff, I am a little bit all over the place, so please bear with me. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do long term, but yeah.
So 2 points before I go to Tyler. One, we might need to talk offline because make sure we don't have my idea. Does your idea have anything to do with like live streaming?
Not live streaming, no.
Okay. All right, cool. So then we might be good. And what else was the other thing? I was stuck. Like, wait, hold on. He said he has an idea, and I'm making sure that it doesn't fall in line with my stuff. What's interesting? And I'm not on there at all, except to like make sure that no one's doing any creepy shit around my kids. But TikTok, I've heard from numerous people that posting, to your point about 60-second videos, people have been doing TikToks on hacking and pen testing and cybersecurity tips, and apparently it has its own little corner. Like, so like Twitter has InfoSec Twitter or Black Twitter or LLC Twitter or whatever it is. Apparently there's a cybersecurity corner of TikTok. I feel like my ass is too old to be on there. And if you're going to make me have to do a dance to explain something, that's just never going to happen. So, and it's like, that's all I see my kids just kind of like doing all this crazy whatever. And I'm like, and now I imagine someone doing something like Nmap scans, whatever. And it's like, I don't, but I keep hearing it's very popular. So who knows? I might just pop a video on there real quick of a quick thing and see how that goes.
Well, what TikTok was an inspiration for sure. I was like, I want to try it out, but there's a new feature in YouTube called YouTube Shorts, and it's not very widespread. It's in beta right now, but it's basically YouTube's competitor to TikTok. So you got to record a vertical formatted video that's 60 seconds or less. And I was like, you know what? I'll hop on it and I'll try a few out, and we'll see how they do. And to be honest, people have seemed to like it, so I might keep it up. Mix it in it's like a part of like a weekly upload or something. I don't know.
You might be onto something. You might y'all heard it here first. You might be onto something. And then the other app is Byte. Basically, it was the people who did. Geez, of course, the lights, and I'm drawing a blank again. TikTok before it was TikTok, a Vine. They're doing it, and I actually came in contact with them last year when TikTok got exposed for when that guy did the whole data dump on the phone, and everybody realized that the Chinese government was monitoring everything on TikTok. I actually went and spoke to the people at Byte on Twitter and was like, "Listen, you guys aren't like mining our data to any other countries, right?" And they were like, "No." So so I might actually go check them out too, because TikTok, I don't know. So Tyler, have you gotten into, are you thinking about doing anything with content creation? Have you done any content creation?
Not any YouTube or video type stuff. I'm kind of shy, but I have a blog. I started a blog when I started Bug Bounty. and I just like kind of just wrote down like some of the bugs I found that were interesting and like my methodology and yeah, just basically how I found it and stuff.
Yeah. No, I think everybody should write a blog.
Yeah.
Even if whether it's your own blog or if you upload to Medium or if you guest post on other people's blogs, or to me, especially if you're doing it with pen testing, I think it helps with the report writing process because now you learn to appreciate a good report, a detailed report, and it makes you a better, like, to me, I actually love writing reports. That's an unpopular opinion amongst pen testers because it's like there's hundreds of pages and I'm like, yeah, but one is, if it's a long report, then usually that means you did something right. And two, I have immaculate templates. So I have my templates. I tweak it, as needed. But like I enjoy it. Like I dedicate when I'm on a pen testing assessment. I usually, obviously they say you dedicate whatever. I dedicate a few days to just writing the report and getting the report out. I write it as I'm testing. Um, and it definitely helps the process. And then basically when you get to that dedicated day or two of writing the report, um, now it's just tweaking it, cleaning it up, doing some proofreading. If there's a QA process, that goes by smoother. But like I said, I usually QA and proofread my shit like 3 times over before I hand it to someone else to do any peer review. So definitely write up a blog. You like Tyler was talking about with some of the bugs. I was doing it with CTFs or vulnerable machines or hack the box write ups, and what it helps with is it's also something you can bring with you on your resume when you're on an interview. So with your resume, I tell people who I mentor, write up the whole process, write up what you did, write up what command you used, and explain what it's doing. The reason why I tell the people to do this is because when you're interviewing someone or you're in an interview, someone like in someone who's a mid to senior level pen tester, they want to make sure that not only do you know what tool to use in this scenario, you want to know why it worked or why it didn't work, right? Because you don't want to be the person who, oh, I found this vulnerability and then I went on this website and found this exploit. I didn't read the code. I don't understand what I did. And when I ran it, it didn't work, but it did work. You just installed a backdoor to your own machine and now you're the hacker who got hacked. But and this stuff happens. So you definitely want to understand, okay, I'm running Nmap with this flag because I wanted to look at, these ports, or I wanted to check for this service or whatever. So, writing the reports and writing those write-ups definitely help you. And going back to your point earlier with Tyler with the information overload, once you kind of understand it and you've written it down a few times, now okay, now it becomes second nature, right? So now it's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna run this scan. Boom, I need to do this. Okay, these ports are open. Now I know what tool to use to look at this port, or if it's a web application, I need to check any subdirectory. So I'm gonna run, Derb or Dirbuster or GoBuster or whatever, and it almost becomes second nature.
Yeah.
So definitely everybody should, write up whatever it is they're doing. Hell, even if you're on the blue team side, write up your process on how you secured your network or how you built up your firewall. So I'm just going to check the chat again. Oh, wow. We got a few people. Let's see. Where are we?
Hello, everyone in chat. Thanks for being talkative.
Carnell White says, good info. Thank you all. Thank you for joining. Happy New Year. JBA says, that's a smart man right there. I don't know who you're referring to, but since we're all here, I think we'll all accept it. So
He was. I think he mentioned that when Tyler was talking about his bug bounty methodology. So.
Yep. Okay. So then there you go, Tyler.
Oh, appreciate that.
Keep it techie says, salute to you, sir. Everybody go check out his YouTube channel as well. Also, Dewan Lightfoot Lab Every Day is here, so salute to that man as well. Go check him out. Let's see, same thing with Professor Black Ops. Let's see, I saw Jada Jackson says cyber talk. Do it for the vine. See, now you showing your age. Carnell White says always got good guests. I appreciate it. And then listen, I'm grateful to them for making themselves available. So 4AG2 says your infinite logins blogs is what's up.
Thanks,
So,
man. I appreciate that.
Cryptario says Happy New Year and thanks for the informative podcast. Again, thank you for joining. I hope you stick around, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and check out the other videos. I do this every week, mostly. Robert Lemon says, hey, how you doing? Kev Tech IT Support says, good info, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year to you too, and thank you. Thank you all very much. Going to follow you too on Twitter. So that's for you guys. Let's see who else we got here. Sup? How you doing? David Lee says, loving the live setup, sir. Hey, shout out to David Lee. Go check out his YouTube channel and his podcast, Cocktails Code. I'm forgetting the third C, man. It's this light. I'm sorry. Every time this light gets on me, it's like it sucks it sucks the memory out of my brain. So, jeez. Man, David, if you're in here, put the name of your show. All right, so both of you guys talked about the OSCP and that being, the monster that you're dealing with right now. And I've written a blog post about my experience with the OSCP from a few years ago. But I'm gonna let you guys talk about your approach for preparing and eventually taking that exam. What's your experience has been like so far? Obviously, you want to keep it without breaking any NDAs or breaking any confidentiality. You don't want to get banned and your certification revoked before you even get it. So Tyler, I'm gonna start with you.
I approached it. I watched a lot of InfoSec videos on like Hack the Box, and I did a lot of Hack the Box. Yeah, I think I kind of signed up too early to actually prepare, but we'll see how it goes,
Right. So, you didn't. I mean, it is overwhelming at first, and Harley, I'm pretty sure you can agree with that.
Oh yeah. I answered this question in 60 seconds actually on my channel. No, I got to do a plug, man. I got to try it. But InfoSec, you mentioned InfoSec, Tyler. That dude is a god, man. Every time I watch InfoSec's videos, I always learn something new. I would say 80% of the content on my blog is just something I learned off an InfoSec video and I wrote about it. But yeah, I think for me, I started OSCP in fall of 2019. So it's been a long journey. I know some people, they start and they get in a month or 3 months. But that's not my that hasn't been my experience. I failed 3 times. Got my 4th attempt coming up in March. But I think for me, I spent a long time just creeping on Reddit, lurking on Reddit. There's a OSCP subreddit that's fantastic. There's really awesome people there. And a lot of people are like, I'm too scared to start, or they share how they failed, or they share how they succeeded. And there's a lot of tips there that I'd highly recommend just checking out. But yeah, I mean, the OSCP, man, for those who have it, you guys have really earned it. I honestly, truly believe that. So,
yeah, go ahead, Tyler.
I said on my Twitter, if I fail it, I'll pay for someone's 90-day course. So,
oh, there you go.
Going all in.
Motivation again.
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't know if you guys read my blog article about it, but my advice would be to just pace yourself, and pay attention to everything. Again, I'm not trying to break any type of confidentiality. Oh, and do the labs. Like, definitely do the labs and spend time in the labs. But where I will deviate from everybody else is because those labs can get expensive, especially when you run out and you have to renew and run out and renew. look at InfoSec's videos. Look at TJ Null. He has a list of Vuln machines or hacked box machines that are similar to the PWK labs. So, save a couple bucks in between, your lab time and everything like that. And also take the time again, write up the process, write up the stuff in the labs, write up everything. Because I don't know if it's still the same, but there's a little bonus for you if you do that.
Yeah, that burnt me. My last attempt, I failed with 65 points, 5 points away from passing. So if I had done the lab report, I would have passed. And the time before that, I was also just a single flag away. So it was.
So for me, and I think I could talk about it since they changed it since then. But was it a year ago or a couple of years ago? Somebody actually leaked the exam online, and this was shortly after I failed it. And I had already said I was taking it. I was going to take the time off because in my article I talked about how basically I burned myself out staying up till 2, 3 in the morning, getting up at 6, going to work, and then staying in the lab till 2, 3 in the morning every night for like 3 months straight. Um, but I remember looking at the leak stuff, and I found where I went wrong, and it was sitting in front of my face the whole time. It was like when I tell you it was like literally right there in front of you, but they talk about rabbit holes, and that's what happened. I was so hell bent on on making this one thing work that I didn't see it. Literally, like, hey, I'm right here. I'm right here. So that's why I say just pay attention to everything.
I agree. I mean, I got the same box a couple times across a couple of my attempts, and I got an initial shell on my second attempt, and I couldn't prevest to save my life. And then my third attempt, I got that same box, so I already knew how to get the initial shell. And the prevest I found within an hour, and I was like, dude, it was right there in front of me, like the whole time. It was right there in front of me.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, like I said, just pay attention and enumerate. Again, look at every single port. Don't just rely on a default Nmap scan. Scan every damn port if you have to, all of them. So we're gonna wind it down shortly. And I have two questions before we get to Q&A. So I know you guys are still fairly new, but what advice would you give to new people looking to get into the field? Anybody can start.
Yeah, I'd say like what you were saying, like make sure if you're trying to get a job, like make sure like you have some sort of log or something or some tangible thing where people can see like, oh, he can apply or they can apply this knowledge and not just read books and not be able to apply it. So I think the hands-on like a project or something like would set you apart from other candidates with no experience.
Harley, what about you?
Someone in chat said my advice is don't get in the field. No, man, get in the field. We need you here. Just do it. Like honestly, just do it. Just start. A lot of people are too scared to take the leap, and you just got to start. And yeah, you're gonna suck, and it's gonna be tough, and you're gonna have no idea what's going on, and you'll be just like the rest of us. So it's okay. And I don't know. I'm very glad that I started, and if I never had started, I wouldn't be where I'm at, and I just think that everyone can do what we're doing. We're not special. We just work hard.
I'd also want to say like always realize that you're going to be a student regardless of whether you graduate or not because like you're always
Talk
going to
about it.
be and like you have to be curious about things and like try and understand things and then try and apply that knowledge in order to hack them. So I think like yeah, the mindset is the biggest thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, absolutely. That's what I tell people all the time. I approach everything like I'm a noob. Like, to me, there's no such thing as a guru. There's no such thing as like an expert or anything like that. And I damn sure ain't one of them. Anybody who kind of says that, I'm like, listen, I appreciate it, but that's not me. I'm still a noob. I approach everything like this is the first time. Even when I'm studying, even if it's a topic that I know, I still make sure I write it down. You just because I want to become a creature of habit. The moment you become complacent is the moment you start overlooking shit. So you definitely keep that hunger, keep that drive. Um, on a personal thing, I'll say, again, just well, actually, I'm gonna get to that. I'm not even gonna go there yet. Uh, Hold on 1 second. David Lee says conversation. See, thank you. Code cocktails and conversations. I kept forgetting that third C, and I apologize, sir. Please forgive me. This live stream rain. So let's see. We talked about the advice. Yes, like I said, yeah, always keep that hunger with you. Um Finally, let's see. Do I want to go there? Oh, obviously, you guys both want to pass the OSCP. Hell, we all want to pass the OSCP. What other goals do you have for 2021? Harley, you can go first since Tyler went first last time.
Cool. Yeah. OSCP's in the list. I wanna pop my first bug. Like I found like first paid bug in the bug bounty world. Me and a buddy, we were kind of working together on a thing, and we found reflected XSS, but we couldn't. It was self XSS, so like it wasn't worth anything. So I want to actually go out and find like a real bug that I can get paid for. That's a goal for sure. And on that same kind of idea, I want to get my first CVE under my belt. So those are the two big goals of 2021 in addition to the OSCP.
A CVE, okay.
I'm going all in, man. Dream big.
Go hard or go home, I guess. Tyler, what about you? What's your goals for 2021?
I'd say similar. Like, I want to get my first CVE as well. Maybe find some more bugs. Like, I'm trying to get like a 5-figure bounty payout. So yeah,
I love it. I love it. I'm sorry. I love it. I love it. I love
I've
it.
been like super close, and I'm like, man. But yeah, you just got to keep grinding.
I love it. Everybody in the chat, everybody who's gonna watch this after we go off the air, and when you're watching the VOD, listen. These are the type of goals. Let these goals scare you. If the goals don't scare you, then it's not big enough. That's definitely, and getting a CV under your name isn't an easy task. Of getting a 5-figure bug, it might be easy to some. For me, that's huge. So yes, I'm definitely gonna be paying attention to both you guys, and y'all gotta let me know when that stuff happens. My goals, I have 3 certs I'm trying to gain first quarter. um
Which ones?
One I'm not going to talk about just yet because I have a whole thing leading up to it. But the other ones are definitely going to be cloud related, so AWS, Google, Azure. Um, that's the other thing, get into the cloud stuff because that's the wave of now. So make sure you get some cloud stuff under your belt, understand how that works. And then I'm going to get into some cloud pen testing. As a matter of fact, John Helmus just wrote this AWS pen testing book. So I'm gonna give that a read once I'm done with everything else. Probably do a little write up. I'm over here dropping things because of course things want to act up when you go live. So yeah, so I'm gonna do that. Give a review. Heck, I'm gonna see if I can get him on the show. But yeah, like I said, I have 3 I want to knock out first quarter. And if everything goes well, I'm shooting to get back into OSCP labs myself, Q3. So somewhere in the fall, I'll be back on that grind. And like I said, we have some unfinished business, me and those labs. So finally, before we get to Q&A, I ask every single guest that I have on here, what is your why? And when I say that, I mean when you get into the field, you have a certain sense of motivation, right? It could be the pay, it could be whatever. But what is your why to get you in the field? What is your why that keeps you going when you can't find those bugs, or you're just not getting it, or it gets frustrating, or just the outside world of cybersecurity? Because we know that cybersecurity can be a toxic place sometimes. What is your why that keeps you going when it feels like it's too much? Anybody, whoever wants to go first.
It's the curiosity, man. It's just staying curious, the hacker mindset of what happens when I do this thing. It's always been that way, and I think a lot of people in this field can relate. So it's that I think is what kind of brought me into it, and it's not even necessarily like I'm motivated to do this. It's just like I don't know anything else. Like I literally can't go on vacation. I went to an Airbnb and I found vulnerabilities on the dude's network, and I had to tell him about it. I was like, "Hey, you've got a problem here," and it's just I'm always curious and I'm always poking around.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say same. Like, I think even outside of cybersecurity, the hacker mindset of like understanding a system, like fundamentally from its like root, especially if you're interfacing from that system like on a day-to-day basis, I think it's important to understand it and understand the risks of using those systems. Um, and I just think, yeah, I think it should be spread throughout industries. Like we should all be critical of human-created systems because humans are inherently flawed, and our creations will have some sort of flaws, even if we're trying to lessen those flaws.
Talk about it. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Humans will always be the weakest link. And Harley, yeah, I'm the same way. I remember one time we were in a hotel somewhere in Maryland, and I think they exposed the IP address on the card reader of the credit card machine. And then when I was in Disney World, and they gave you the little armbands, but then the armbands actually interacted with all the attractions at Disney World. So like you walk by and see your name somewhere scrolling somewhere, and I was like, okay. I obviously I didn't bring my laptop with me, and my wife wouldn't let me. But that is that hacker mindset. You're now you're wondering, okay, how does that work? What is it communicating with? What APIs or whatever? And the funny thing is, my wife now, she can kind of see my brain when it starts moving. So I'll be sitting there, and she'll look at me, and she's like, "Stop it! You're not doing this right now. Stop it." And I'm like, "I'm not even doing anything." But she's like, she can literally, I don't know if I give off some type of energy or radiation or something, but it's like she knows exactly when I say I'm supposed to be on vacation or I'm supposed to be taking a break. But again, it's that itch in the back of your head, right? It's that puzzle. It's
Like,
almost, yeah, it's a challenge. It's like I have to know why.
yeah,
Uh,
my girlfriend's the same way. Like I'll go to a restaurant and like, oh, there's an access point over there, or looking at, hey, this Ethernet jack's exposed. I wonder what that goes to.
yeah.
So
So finally, let's talk about how can people reach you. What do you have to promote? What social media? How can they reach you, and how can they find you and get in contact with you guys?
For me, you can reach me on Twitter at dat Choco Lovin, Choco Lovin, and on Instagram Choco Lovin. Um, my blog is Hawkins, like my last name, security.com. Um, yeah, and my business website is HawkeyeSecurity.com. So yeah, you can reach me through any of those.
Okay. Harley, what about you?
first of all, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the channel that you're watching right now, what are you doing? Second of all, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter. I've got a blog. Everything's just Infinite Logins. So at Infinite Logins, YouTube's like /C/Infinite Logins, whatever, blog.com. So yeah, that's where you can find me. And reach out. Like if you have questions, if you're going for your OSCP, if I can help you, if you just want to talk, like reach out to me on Twitter or whatever. Like I want to talk to people. So.
Nah, definitely, and I will definitely put your links in the description. Well, it should be in the description if you're watching on YouTube. So again, thank you two gentlemen for joining. I love what both of you guys are doing. I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out. Anytime you guys want to reach out to me, if I can help out, you know how to find me, just like how you found me here. So with that, we get to do the fun stuff now. We get to the Q&A. So chat, if you guys are here, let's see where we are. Man, you guys are active today, and I love it. So Yosh says, wait, first he said hi, salute, happy new year, and TikTok it's addictive. No, I'm not gonna. I don't want to do that, which is funny because TikTok is a security vacuum. TikTok is a security vacuum, but we're not. We're not going to get into that. Everything is a security vacuum these days. I mean, hell, look at what happened yesterday. So 4AG2 says IPSEC. Yep, IPSEC is definitely where to go. Sometimes, you could just watch it. Even before I was doing the OSCP stuff, I just watch it because I just like to see other people's methodologies. So 4AG2 also says you can do it, Harley, and giving you £1. Let's see. Debo MC says you guys need to be watching All Hazard on Twitch.
I agree. I've seen that. I've seen some of that dude's stuff. It's really, really good.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to go check them out. Legit, he says. Devo says legit red teamer. He's an absolute beast. All right, well I'm gonna have to write that down now. Hey, Debo, if you have the connect, let's get in contact. Hell, I'll bring him on the show or whatever. So let's see. Cherie Lemons says, hey, my husband hit me to your channel because I'm a recruiter trying to become a technical recruiter. So I'm trying to get tips. Cherie, thank you for joining. I hope anything that I can do or that these gentlemen here can do has been helpful to you. And also stay tuned because I have something coming down the pipeline, especially for recruiters. I'm trying to flesh that out now. Hey, you can reach me, contact me if you want to be a guest for that episode. 4AG says, agree. AI or Al has been put 6-hour streams. Okay, you've gotten my attention. I'm gonna have to go check them out. IPSEC is a recording after already figuring out the boxes or editing out the struggle. I don't know. I've seen where IPSEC has gotten jammed up mid video, and also it is recording after because sometimes he can't release it until the box is retired.
Yeah, I've seen in some of his videos if it's like ranked easy difficulty or whatever, he'll say, all right, I'm just going to do it live. But yeah, for the tough ones, who cares if he looks it up first? We're looking at him for the answer. So
hey, listen, I'm not going to lie. A couple of my write-ups, well, obviously, if I wrote them up, I did it previously. So, hey, share the wealth. So Kev Tech says, yeah, you want to stay hungry and continue to learn. Absolutely. You got to. Same thing with 4AG says, keep learning, have a passion for learning. You definitely have to. I've told the story a couple times. If you're not interested in reading or researching, this field isn't for you. Like someone told me one time that they wanted to get into cybersecurity, but they weren't interested in reading. And I told them, well, UPS is hiring. So OSWE for sure. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. David Lee says if you understand AWS security, you're golden. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I definitely want to get into that, and we got to get certified and kind of stay relevant. That's the other thing. You got to stay relevant in this field. So shout out to AWS, Professor Black Ops. Yes. And again, everybody, please subscribe to Harley's channel. Subscribe to the Juan Lightfoot Lab Every Day. Keep it techie. David Lee, Codes, Cocktails, and Conversations. Subscribe to their blogs. Subscribe to Hawkins Security, his blog, Infinite Logins. subscribe to everybody and just again, just share the wealth. Share the knowledge. So, does anybody have any questions? I'm scrolling, and I see there's a lot of conversation here. Let's see. My experience. Let's see what this one says. My experience is the one main thing that is hurting me. I've had multiple interviews, but only 1.5 years. It's hard to move forward out of entry level. Clark Fitness. So what I would say is, again, show that you got the hands-on experience. Grab, if you can, grab a couple certs, and do a couple. If you're getting into pen testing, because I don't know what you're doing, but if you are getting into pen testing, you know, grab a couple of machines off of Lone Hub and write up that process. Um, like Tyler said, start a blog, get some exposure. This way, it shows that you have the experience. I mean, some of the best hackers I know don't have one certification, but they have a blog, they have a YouTube channel, they have Twitter, they're active on Reddit, even though I'm not on Reddit like that. But their stuff is out there. So you gotta kind of put yourself out there a little bit.
My number one hint, or I guess advice for that, you've got to go to meetups. You've got to meet people. You've got to go to security meetups, man. Obviously, COVID makes that difficult, but if you go to meetup.com and you search security meetups, there's all kinds of digital stuff. I mean, hell, we're doing a digital meetup right now. You've got to do that, and I think that'll help you get out of the help desk rut that you're in. If you can't move up in the company you're with, don't be afraid to pivot. And sometimes just meeting the right person to help you get your foot in the door is all you need.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. And honestly, with COVID, I think making meetups is a lot easier because now you don't have to travel. So most of them are on, Zoom or whatever. So definitely take advantage of that. COVID has impacted us negatively in a lot of different ways. But the one positive is that it made people who were stuck with one way of thinking think differently, and now there's more ways to connect. Most conferences are online now. I know I can't wait till we do get back to some type of normalcy and I can meet up with some of these people, face to face. But I got to speak at conferences that I probably would never have gained access to, prior to COVID. I have friends who are speaking at conferences overseas that they didn't even know existed, but because of COVID, now everything is remote. So, Trent says hello. What's up, Trent? KevTech says, make sure you have a good resume, work on certifications, and learn what's needed for system admin or network admin, if that makes sense. Labs will always help you. Yep, he's absolutely right. Spade says, giving myself 10 days to get my AWS TCP. Hey, good luck. If you can knock it out in 10 days, go for it. If not, listen, there's nothing wrong with rescheduling. Because at the end of the day, if you're not ready and you take the test and you're not ready, you're just wasting money. Thanks, guys. Have a good night and stay safe. Cryptario, again, thank you. I appreciate the love and everybody, spending some time here. So let's see. Hope to see you guys there. Debo, absolutely. Professor Black Ops says, great interview. Thank you, sir. How do you feel about working with career coaches? So career coaches, if they prove to be beneficial, I'd say go for it. Now, but see, with cybersecurity, sometimes people get weird when it comes with coaching. My thing is, I will mentor and give advice for free, but if you want to sit down and have a plan, come up with a plan and come up with, a whole strategy, then that falls into the coaching, and then obviously that takes more time, and so that's going to cost money. And coaching gets a negative rap sometimes. Because it's like, oh, you should just be sharing the knowledge for free. And absolutely right. But that's what Google's for. That's what Wikipedia is for. That's what Twitter is for. That's what Reddit's for. So if you want to get the knowledge, get the knowledge. But if you want to sit down and say, hey, what what advice would you give me? I'll give you advice, but then if you say, hey, I want to come up with a study plan, or I want to figure out a certification path or something like that, can you help me with that? Then I think there should be some type of compensation for that, because I mean, if you go to a financial advisor who's teaching you how to save your money or how to allocate your money, that's a fee, right? And a financial advisor is nothing but a money coach, right? If you go talk to, so I mean, hell, you talk to a life coach, there's a fee because they're kind of helping you with that. So there's a thin line between mentoring and coaching. But when you cross that line, I think you should definitely, pay for the services.
I think at minimum, man, you need someone you can talk to, and
Right.
if you don't have anyone you can bounce ideas off of career wise, or when you are running into career challenges or whatever, you need to have someone to chat with. I reached out to the cyber mentor Heath Adams when I
Mm-hmm.
first started getting into this stuff, and I was like, hey man, can I talk with you? I'll compensate you for an hour of your time, and let's just talk. Let's just talk. So I paid him, and we had a conversation, and I got out of that phone call and I scheduled my OSCP the same day, and it's
Right.
just because the words that man told me helped me take that leap of faith that I needed. So I think coaching is very, very valuable. And yeah, it shouldn't be free. People share their knowledge with you, and they're busy and they've got their own lives, and you should want to compensate people for that.
No, absolutely. And like I said, I mean, I've had conversations where people may have called me and asked me my opinion, and my opinion is free. Hell, we're on YouTube right now, and giving opinions are based on experience. But again, if it's kind of like once it starts to really get in depth, yeah, I definitely think that people should be compensated for their time. Your time is always your most precious commodity. So you should be compensated for that. So Clark Fitness says, can I have the link for the digital meetups? So just go to meetup.com and type in what you're interested in, and it'll tell you what's in your area. And then after that, you can just kind of find the groups that you're interested in and see if they're online. It just all depends on what you want to do. So just go to meetup.com. MB says, thanks. Good luck to you all. Good luck to you again. I hope you have a great start to 2020. And finally, Devo says, anybody who just joined the Discord, please say hi and off topic. I haven't yet, but Debo, if you wanted to just put the link in here so anybody who is interested, um, we can do that as well. So with that being said, if anybody else doesn't have anything, and I think we covered most of the stuff, uh, again, I believe in giving everybody their flowers when they are here to smell them. I appreciate the both of you. Like I said, I love what you guys are doing. I love the hunger. I love the passion. Keep that. It'll get you far, you know, and block out all the other stuff. And like I said, remember why you're doing it. But like I said, you know, I subscribe to Harley's YouTube channel. Tyler, I follow you on social media. I've seen what you're doing with the blog. I think you guys are doing great work, and I definitely think you guys will go far. And if you guys ever need me for anything, you know how to reach me, man. So thank you guys for coming. To the chat again. Thank you for making this a great episode. Thank you for supporting. You guys are awesome, and happy new year. Like I said, next week I will be live again Thursday. I will announce the guests either this weekend or Monday. But we're going to have another conversation with another great person in this field, and we're going to talk. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it uncut. We're going to keep it unplugged. So if you like everything that's going on here, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I got the link there, youtube.com/c/alpha cybersecurity. Also, if you like what I'm doing and you want to support, you can buy me a coffee. It's as little as $5, and then basically everything that I'm doing goes right back into the channel to kind of come up with this equipment. Eventually, I want to get a better camera. I want to stream in 4K. I need to get a better rig like Harley's right there that's changing colors, and and it's just I'm working towards that. So if you guys want to support, buy me a coffee, leave your comments. Speaking of coaching, I probably will get into coaching somewhere in Q2. So if you guys are interested, just subscribe and just stay in contact with me, and also subscribe to the blog. So thank you everybody for joining. Thank you to my guests, Tyler Hawkins and Harley Kimball. I appreciate you guys. One love to everybody. Stay safe out there. Wear a mask, cough in your sleeve, maintain social distancing and all that good stuff. You guys take it easy.
Cool. Thank you.